Hello, Mike Ako, and good afternoon. Mahalo for joining today's joint AEN hearing with EDU. It's February 15th, and we are in room 229. March. Sorry, March. Behind a little, yeah. Sorry. And we are video conferencing as well, which is being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that the hearing is cut short for whatever reason, we'll reconvene Monday, March 18th at 1:01 p.m. And because of our 90-minute time limit, we have a 2-minute time limit for all testifiers. So one item on the agenda, HB 2774 HD2, modifies certain benchmark goals and timeline for the Department of Education to provide locally sourced agricultural and food products. First up is Department of Ag. Out here. They have comments. Department of Education.
Good afternoon, chairs and members of the committee. Colonel Taguro, Deputy Superintendent, testifying on behalf of the Department of Education and our superintendent. The department stands on its written testimony. We're in full support of this. The bill is going to help us streamline and standardize reporting obligations to the legislature as well as to our constituents. We're happy to. It's also going to help us with communication for menu planners to talk to and share with farmers, growers, distributors, and things of that nature. So we believe this bill is very important. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mike Munakata from Ulupono Initiative in support. Kaylee Nixon from Office of Hawaiian Affairs.
Aloha, Chair Gabbard, Chair Kidani, and members of the committee. Kaylee Nixon with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. We will stand on our written testimony in support. Mahalo for the opportunity.
Kaylee. Dennis Chase from the Hawaii Public Health Institute.
Chair Gabbard, Chair Kidani, committee members, thank you very much for the opportunity to testify. I am the program manager for the Farm to School Hawai'i, and we are in strong support of this measure. I just want to expand on what our friends from DOE were saying a little bit to say that we have Act 175 and we have Act 176, Farm to School and Farm to State, which we think are great. What this does is clarify a slight discrepancy in the benchmarks between those two bills, because both bills mention the Department of Education. One requires 30% local food by 2030. One requires 18% local food by 2030. So we think it's really helpful for DOE to clarify, and for everyone else who's involved in the food system who will be supporting DOE to clarify that it's going to be the 30% by 2030 for the Department of Education in our school cafeterias. So we're in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Ka'anohio Kala McComber in support. Lillian Colton in support. Noel Shaw in support. Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? Please, come forward.
Are you sitting in the back of the classroom?
Thank you, chairs, members of the committee. Brian Miyamoto here on behalf of the Hawaii Farm Bureau, sitting in detention in the back of the classroom. My apologies, chairs. We did submit written testimony. If it's not received, we will make sure the committees get our testimony in strong support. We agree with Mr. Chase's explanation on what this bill is hoping to accomplish. I'm just here testifying to really commend the Department of Education. They are doing what they believe they need to do. Stakeholders, agriculture has been meeting with them, seems like every week, and we feel like there is momentum. 2030 is 6 years away. We are about 6.4%. 30% is going to be about 4% per year. So without speaking on behalf of the department, they are serious in trying to achieve that goal and continuing to meet those benchmarks. So again, we're in strong support. We want to make sure that the Department of Education has the tools that they need and the resources they need in order to achieve this first goal of 30% by 2030. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony, and I will get the testimony if it is received by the committees.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone else? Members, any questions? Okay, Senator Rose is on the way. Just take a brief recess, okay? All right, reconvening the 305 joint with AEN and EDU. The decision-making, the chairs having conferred, the chair's recommendation will be to pass this measure with an amendment to change the effective date to July 1st, 2050. Are there any questions or concerns for AEN? I think Senator DeCourt will take the vote. Chair votes aye.
All members voted on HB 2774, HD2 with amendments. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair excuse. Senator DeCoit votes aye. Senator Rhodes.
Aye.
Senator Awang excuse. Chair, your motion is adopted.
Thank you.
And for this Committee on Education, Chair agrees, but we have no quorum, so we will do decision-making on Monday, March 18th in this conference room, 3 p.m.
Okay, that adjourns the hearing.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Senate Committee on Education. Today is Friday, March 15, 2024. It is 3:14 p.m. We are in hearing room 229. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. This Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream event will include the 3:15 agenda for the Committee on Education. In the unlikely event that we must abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Monday, March 18, 2024 at 3 p.m. in this conference room 229. A public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. I'd like to take this time to remind our testifiers that due to time restrictions on our hearings, we will be limiting testimony to 1 minute per testifier per bill. For people participating remotely, please remain muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. When I call your name, unmute yourself and your time will begin. After your minute is completed, staff will mute you so that we can move this hearing along in an orderly and efficient manner. Members, please hold any questions until testimony on all measures is heard. Okay, our first, because we have no quorum today, by the way, we will defer decision-making to Monday, March 18th, 3 p.m. in this conference room 229. Our first item is House Bill 1906, House Draft 1, relating to making an appropriation for the Department of Education to promote student mental health. Okay, and to testify, Department of Education.
Tammy Chung for Department of Education, standing on our written testimony in support.
Thank you, Tammy. Brad Kusunoki, school counselor.
Hi, Chair Kidani, Senator Favela. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak in support again. Just wanted to add something to my testimony about this is listed as a mobile app. but it's way more than that. Mobile app is just the one way of accessing this tool. Which is a very important program to counselors in any school to help to maintain and to monitor and to provide assistance to kids for their social and emotional well-being. It's discreet, it's easy to do, and what the program does, in addition to Panorama, it gives us something to help organize, analyze, and to give us the data that we need rather than taking all the raw data and trying to collate and analyze it ourselves. So it really pushes us ahead and allows us to have access and to give services to every student that needs it. And we can give it from any student from ages kindergarten through adult, and we can give them assistance if needed in a very quick amount of time. So I just wanted to clarify that. They're both programs that, of course, they are tools, and the kids might not use it, but they have the opportunity to use it, and it does help when they do because it gives us an insight to how they're feeling and helps us to provide any interventions needed in the event that they might be feeling any of those feelings that we see that might lead to things that we see on the news or things that we don't want to talk about. So I humbly ask you to support this measure and to allow us to keep using it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. On Zoom, we have Osatui, President HSTA.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. We have someone from Hawaii State Council on Mental Health on Zoom.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here wishing to testify on this measure? If not, we are moving on. Next item is House Bill 2399 HD1 relating to the Hawaii State Public Library System, exempts an additional administrative assistant position in the Hawaii State Public Library System from civil service. Here to testify, Stacy Aldridge.
Hillary Fukutani on behalf of Stacy Aldridge, standing on a written testimony and support.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here wishing to testify on this measure? Moving on. Might finish on time. Our third item is House Bill 335 HD2 relating to the Department of Education procurement, exempts from the Hawaii Public Procurement Code educational materials and related training for direct student instruction in career and technical education programs within the Department of Education. To testify, Superintendent.
Deputy Superintendent for the Department of Education, standing on a written testimony and support.
Thank you, Tammy. On Zoom, Bonnie Kahakui, Procurement Office.
Good afternoon, Chair, member of the committee, Bonnie Kahakui for the State Procurement Office. We stand on our written testimony providing comments for clarity. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. Also on Zoom, Principal Zachary Sheets, Waipahu High School.
Not present on Zoom, Chair.
Next on Zoom, Komari Moss, Principal, Moanaloa Middle School.
Also not present on Zoom, Chair.
Tardy, huh? Okay. Next to testify, Sean Wong, Principal, Roosevelt High School.
Not present on Zoom as well, Chair.
Is there anyone else here wishing to testify on this measure? Members' questions on this? That's all we have? Okay. Members' questions on any of the items discussed?
For the mental health, DOE. So just going on the bold on my list.
Which item?
For the DOE.
Which item?
Was Senate mental 1906.
Okay.
Question is that if the DOE program will be available for homeschool students, and if not, the department is going to reach out to the homeschool students.
So, do you want to take that one?
Yes,
So can you introduce yourself? Hi, Ida Bonilla, and I'm with School-Based Behavioral Health, Educational Specialist for the Office of Student Support Services. Thank you, Chair Kidani and Senator Favela, for having me here today. To answer your question, yes, so it is available to all DOE public school students, and so we can outreach to our homeschool students as well.
On all grade levels.
All grade levels, yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Is that the only questions that you have, Senator, on all of the bills?
That was it.
Okay, so my turn. So for DOE on House Bill 1906, has this program been used nationally or internationally?
So both programs, Panorama and Trust Circle, have been used nationally. Panorama more so nationally, and Trust Circle actually internationally. So Panorama is widespread across the continental US, and Trust Circle is actually part of the World Health Organization.
And the cost, the annual cost is?
Oh, we're asking for 1.7 for both platforms. So equal split between the two.
And that's annually?
Yes.
Thank you. For state libraries, please. Mallory, can you explain the need for this bill to correct Act 88?
Right, so when you create a position through the budget process, it creates a civil service position, but the intent was always to create an exempt position. So you have to create the position, and then there's that statutory change that must also happen. When we created the position for our facilities, to oversee all our facilities back in 2021, the corresponding amendment, which is reflected in HB 233, was never done.
So when that position was created, was it specified at that time that it was a non-civil service position?
That was our intent, and that's what we discussed with the finance staff. But I think in the rush of everything, we all neglected to do the follow-up statutory amendment. And if you notice, the statute right now says that the state librarian, the exempt positions for the library system are the state librarian, special assistant, the secretaries, and administrative assistant, AN administrative assistant. So a very technical reading of the specific language requires us to say administrative assistants with an S.
Okay. Thank you, Mallory.
Thank you.
Let's see, did I have questions? Sorry. Okay, so for House Bill 335, DOE regarding procurement. So how is this going to help student achievement and students' goal of industry recognized certifications? How is this bill going to specifically help?
So this bill would allow students to get, our schools to obtain career and technical education equipment more quickly so that students could have access to the equipment and be able to learn the skills, the hands-on skills.
And how many contracts is this going to impact or effect?
So we don't know yet how many contracts this will affect, but we do know examples of the kinds of equipment that were, that currently need to go through the full RFP process because of the amount of the cost of the particular equipment. So sometimes our career and technical education equipment can be quite expensive, or at least above the threshold. that we currently have for procurement. And especially when you're doing equipment for engineering or, for example, agriculture, they can be, they're higher than the current thresholds, which require full procurement, which takes quite a long time. Sometimes it can delay receipt of the equipment for a full school year from the time the school intends to purchase.
Thank you. Thank you.
I never have, but you kind of was mine. So, for that going forward, would it be okay if we, I mean, this is only out the box, right? If we raise the threshold, is this the schools purchasing or the DOE will be purchasing for each school? Because I know there's thresholds for the principals inquiring and buying equipment for the schools, for educational tools, and then the DOE. So which one is this going to be just a DOE?
So it would apply across the DOE, whether state office or complex area or schools are purchasing. We have all the same thresholds. One of the things we'd like to do in the future is be able to have the state office be able to do larger purchases so that schools don't have to individually purchase the equipment.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to some of the principals, because, you know, we're doing the pathways for academies, and even though Kim Sanders was blessed with an equipment of carpentry, when she took over the school, still yet other equipment still costs the schools a lot of money, and the kids who's interested in them not gonna be able to benefit if we cannot expedite it. Okay, thank you, Chair. Appreciate it.
So did you guys expect a cost savings by doing that?
Possibly. It's possible that we'd have a cost savings. We definitely have a time savings. And I think the cost savings might come in the amount of effort that staff have to put into the procurement process currently.
But for delivery, it'd still be to individual schools.
Yes. Well, it depends on the kind of equipment, but a lot of this equipment is large.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Okay, thank you. Question for the State Procurement Office. Is Bonnie Kahakui still online?
She is still on Zoom.
Good afternoon, Senator.
Thank you. So Bonnie, when is SPO moving to a new electronic procurement system? As you indicated last year, the move would be completed.
Well, we're in the process now, but we're not starting with the electronic procurement portion of that. We are starting with our e-marketplace, which is our already contracted price list and vendor list. So it'll be a couple of years before we move into the full e-procurement system. However, we still do have our legacy system that's up and running, as does the DOE. I believe they use HEPS for some of their work, and they're able to use Hypro currently.
So to address your testimony and equal opportunity, though, DOE and other departments for that matter could post their notices on HANDS, which is the state's Hawaii Awards and Notices Data System.
That is correct. That is a posting board only. Vendors would have to go look for those notices, as opposed to a procurement system like Hypro, like Aloha eWise, which is the brand of our new one. In Hypro, in an electronic procurement system, notifications go out to vendors who have signed up in our system. HANDS just says, it's just like a bulletin board, electronic bulletin board, and you got to go look for it.
So are you assuming that those companies that regularly deal with DOE would not be looking at the postings?
I don't know for sure, particularly if it's only once in a great while by. But what the DOE can do is reach out to their vendors. If a particular item is coming up for their need, they can reach out to their vendors and say, hey, go look at the notice in HANDS. And then that way everybody that they reach out to or that's seen the notice will be able to respond to them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
DOE, please. So how will this help with student achievement and students' goal of industry recognized certifications?
So we know that the industry is changing really fast, especially as technology increases and there's more applications of technology. And so this bill would allow schools to acquire equipment, career and technical education equipment more quickly, to give students, more students, access to the hands-on experiences that prepare them for work in some of these emerging industries or high-tech industries. They would be able to, in some cases, earn industry certifications that are associated with learning skills on the equipment.
So you just heard the SPO say that DOE could reach out to vendors and just tell them to look on hands to see what you guys are looking for. Is that a possibility?
Yes, yes it is. So at the state office level, we do use hands to put some of our procurement up on that system. So that is a possibility, yes.
So what defines some? How do you determine what goes on?
Anything that's gone through an RFP process is put up through the hand system, is posted on there as well. And as well, we also do use HiPro for some of the different procurement methods that I use. So both HiPro and hands are being used by the department.
I don't know if you guys know the answer to this, but how many contracts has to go through procurement each year?
That we're gonna have to get back to. I apologize, I don't have that on hand.
Yeah, so you guys don't keep a number by schools then?
Well, we would have that number, I just don't have that.
Okay, I would appreciate your
Okay.
getting back to us on that.
Senator, can you clarify, do you mean contracts overall, or do you mean specific to CTE
Specific to
purchases?
CTE purchases,
Okay.
yes. Further questions? If not, thank you. And this concludes our meeting, or do we have something else? Yeah, we're going to decision make. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Obviously, we can't take a vote. There's only my friend here and myself. So we will be decision making on Monday, March 18th at 3 p.m. in this room 229. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned.